What is going on, everybody? It is your boy DJWars22. Today, I'm going to be telling you all about how I started playing Diablo, the memories I have, and then I'd love to hear from you. Alright guys, so yeah, this video is just going to be about the memories that I have and how I got into the game. So way back in the day, man, it was, I believe it was 7th grade when I used to live in Florida. I came to school talking about StarCraft, right? And there was these other two friends of mine. Of course, we're all nerdy and shit. And I was like, dude, you guys ever play StarCraft? And they're like, oh man, fuck StarCraft. StarCraft's gay. They're like, we play Diablo 2. I was like, Diablo 2? What is that? So they had the strategy guide, right? And so they showed me the game, and I was looking through it, and I was like, whoa, man, looking at the pictures. I think LOD was out, so I started playing basically on LOD. And man, it was just so cool, man. I was like looking at the druid and the assassin, the strategy guide, you know, like big pictures of it and like the skills and shit. And they were explaining it to me. They were like, yeah, man, this is the poison. And, you know, this guy does this, and this guy's lightning. And, you know, this guy does whatever he does. And I was like, oh man, so I got to try it. So I remember my friend Andy, he let me borrow it. I installed it and everything, went home. And, man, I remember like when you first log in and they had the characters with like the fire, the what's it called, the fucking campfire. And I was like, whoa, dude. And you like click on one of them, and like the necromancer comes forward, and the sorceress comes forward, and the bard goes, oh, and I was like, oh my god, like fell in love instantly, dude. And I was like, damn, this game looks sick as fuck, dude. I remember it was late at night. It was probably like 8 or 9 p.m. when I finally had it installed, because the game took so long to install back then on those shitty ass computers. And so anyways, man, like I played with the Amazon, and as soon as I went out to Bloodmore, I started like just hitting shit with the javelin, and I was like, oh dude, like I instantly fell in love, man. And like I was just going around hitting shit in Bloodmore, and it was like, it was seriously like I instantly fell in love, and I was like, wow, man, like this game is like the greatest game ever. And I remember feeling like, damn, like I've never experienced this kind of game, right? So in 7th grade, man, it really took my life over. I think I went to bed at like 11 or 12 that night, which for me, that was super late, right? Because my mom beats my ass around 9:30 range. But, you know, she's not used to me staying up late, because I would play games back then, but it wasn't like addicting ass games. It would be like sports games or like Final Fantasy or something. It was just something you would play, but it wasn't like, it wouldn't take over my life type shit, you know what I mean? Or, you know, whatever games they had back then. But this game was taking my life over. I remember. And wow, dude, like I remember telling my friends, like, dude, Diablo. They're like, bro, you know that shit goes online? I was like, no way, bro. They're like, dude, yeah, it's called Battle.net. And so like we would all play together, man. And I remember actually they didn't really want to play with me. And every time that they would get online, fucking, like, they would never ever play with me. And I'd see them at school, and then I guess I realized they weren't really my friends. So after learning that these guys really didn't give a shit about me, I was like, man, I really need to meet some new people, because I didn't hang out with them anymore. I don't know why. Like, they introduced me to this game, and then I was ready to play the game, they didn't want to fuck with me anymore. But that's okay. So fucking I found new people that played Diablo, and there was actually probably like 6 to 7 people in a class of like 20 in Florida that used to play Diablo. So I played with those guys and started playing Battle.net, man. And I remember just like the memories, dude, and the hours I would put into it, and like I would be so exhausted when it would come to school, man. Like, I used to be a decent student back then, man. I don't want to say Diablo ruined my life, but I guess in a way it kind of ruined my life. At least my schoolwork. I mean, there's really no way around it. I mean, I went from being a good student who would somewhat pay attention to just a guy who didn't give a fuck, because all I wanted to do was go home and play Diablo, man. Like, that was the only important thing in my life, was playing Diablo. Nothing else mattered. Diablo, Diablo, Diablo. So after the Amazon, man, I remember, like, this is back when guided arrow was fucking amazing, and like multi-shot, it's called multi-shot. That was fucking sick, dude. So like guided arrow, you'd be out there PvP just wrecking people, man. And like the cool thing about it back then was there were still so many noobs. So like I would wreck noobs. Of course I would get wrecked too, but like there would be people out there, and I would just wreck them with one hit, and they were like, whoa, how the fuck, how much damage do you do? And I'm like, fucking 6,000. They're like, oh fuck, man. And like I would let people hit me, and they wouldn't even do damage, and I'm like, my turn? They're like, yeah, go ahead. One guided arrow, fucking rip, and it would like follow them and shit, like dead. Fucking, like, it was just like the coolest thing ever, man. It's just fucking phenomenal. So then of course I tried other characters. I think the next one was probably like the assassin or the druid. I don't think I initially was playing the sorceress that much, but when I did finally play the sorceress, man, like it was insane. Like the Amazon was amazing, but like the sorceress for me was just the go-to character. Like I learned what frozen orb was, and like that was fucking godly, dude. Frozen orb was like the best thing ever. Shh. you know what I'm saying, with all the fucking little spikes and shit. And like I remember first seeing somebody, I was like, what the fuck is this? What is he doing? What is this skill? What is it? So that's what really inspired me to play Sorceress, right? And back then Nova was good too, man. Nova was fucking dope as hell. And like there was just so many good moves for the Sorceress, man. Like everything was great. And then like I remember when they nerfed it, man, like it was so heartbreaking. Like Frozen Orb just wasn't really good anymore. It just wasn't something that you could use anymore, you know. And they really ruined the Sorceress around the same time, and they really ruined the Boazon basically the same time. I don't remember the patch. It was either 1.9 or 110, something like that. And it fucking sucked, man. It fucking sucked, because then you had to use Blizzard, which I didn't really like Blizzard because it's so inaccurate. And then for the Boazon, you pretty much had to use Titans or Thunderstroke or something, which was cool. I'm not even saying that it's not cool. I'm just saying, like, it just blows that you would completely change the game and not make it viable anymore. Like, I've never understood, like, why can't I just be a Boazon, or you know, use what is it, CS? I think it's CS. It would be a CS on and shit. Like, I didn't understand, and I still don't to this day, why the fuck you have to like nerf so much. And the Barbarian got hit too, man. Whirlwind used to be so fucking amazing. I remember back in the day, but then they nerfed it. Like, for whatever reason, Blizzard is just like, big fuck you, man. We're gonna change the whole game for you. And you know, for me, it was just so lame, because that is what I wanted to play. But anyways, guys, we've rambled enough about that, man. I really want to hear from you guys, man. What is your story, and how exactly did you get involved in Diablo 2? How many hours did you put in, man? Like, I put in an insane amount of hours, dude. Remember when, like, Rune Words dropped? Dude, that was insane. Remember when, like, Diablo clone first started, and Ubers and shit, dude? Like, back then you could, like, Uber level. I don't know if you guys remember that. Like, the newer people who are playing right now, they don't know what that is. Uber leveling, like, you would get somebody in the corner and then you could get them to like level 80 like fucking so quick, dude. It was insane. I don't remember how the pricing was back then, but I used to use D2JSP like way back then, because I was like middle school, high school. I think high school is when they had it, and it was, the game back then was fucking massive, dude. Just fucking like a massive game, dude. Like, could you imagine right now if we had Twitch when back then, dude? Like, this game was already so big and so addicting, but if you had people live streaming, you had YouTubers back then. I don't even think YouTube was a site back then, but if you had YouTube back then, dude, like, this game would be like the biggest fucking thing on planet Earth, dude. But luckily and fortunate enough for me, there's not a YouTube or Twitch back then, because I can't imagine, like, if we had smartphones, like, how much more it would have ruined my life. Because in a way, it ruined my life. Like, I was obsessed with that game for like 7 fucking years. Like, I wouldn't hang out with friends. I wouldn't go skateboard anymore. I wouldn't hang out with my girlfriend type shit. Like, it was just fucking, oh, not to mention terrible grades. It would just fucking take my whole day away and night, and I would just be like, I have to get home. I have to sell these Stone of Jordans. I have to get high runes. I have to make an Enigma. I have to get Chains of Honor. Like, it was just such an obsession, guys. So definitely in the comment section below, guys, I would love to hear from you, man. Tell me about this story, man. How'd you get involved in Diablo 2? Did it ruin your life the same way it ruined mine? But it didn't really ruin it, because, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to, you wouldn't understand unless you were really addicted to Diablo. Like, it ruined my life, but at the same time, it's like the best memories of my life. So, guys, peace the fuck out. Love to hear from you. Bye-bye.